guys, it's Emily, and today I'm here to do a tag, and this is the Sisterhood of the World tag, and I was tagged by Amber of Amber Eats Books way back in April, so I don't know why I've been not doing this tag, but today I'm going to do it, and I think if I was doing this tag correctly, I would write my own questions and put them in the drop box down there, but since it's such a it's so late and this tag has finished its round on BookTube, I'm just going to put Amber's questions down there if anybody wants to do the tag, because her questions are really good. So there you go. So let's just get right into it. Question 1 is, name a book you gave 1 to 2 stars to and why? And I looked at my Goodreads, and the only book that's listed on there that I've given 1 star is the Twilight series by Stephanie Myers. And I read this when it first came out. I read the first 2 books. I read Twilight and I read New Moon, and I haven't read any of the other ones. And same with the movies. I saw Twilight and I read New Moon, and I haven't read or seen Eclipse or Breaking Dawn, and I don't really care, and I'm not going to see them. So, anyway, why did I give these 2 books 1 star? Probably just because they were trash. Like, Bella in that movie, well, not the movie, but Bella in the book is so helpless, and why are you throwing yourself off, cliffs to see your man, and, no man is worth that, and I don't care if he's a vampire, whatever, move on with your life, and I don't know, yeah, I just gave it 1 star because I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't get the hype about it, and I just thought it was dumb, and I remember, part of the reason is probably because I'm a Harry Potter, die-hard fan. And I remember these came out when I was in high school. And people were like, they're better than Harry Potter. No. Okay? No. That's all I gotta say about that. Okay. Moving on. Question 2. With your eyes closed, grab a book off your shelf and open it to a random page. Now, with your eyes open, read the first sentence from that book. Okay, I'm not in my room, but I'm going to use this bookshelf back here. So, hold on. I'm going to do it. Okay, I got a book. What is it? Native Son by Richard Wright. Let me read the first page, or the first sentence of this. The first sentence is the introduction. I'm going to go find the actual first page. Okay. Well, this isn't very exciting. Bring! An alarm clock clanged in the dark and silent room. A bed spring creaked. A woman's voice sang out impatiently, "Bigger, shut that thing off!" There you go. Bigger is the main character according to the back. So something exciting is going to happen in that room probably. But there you go. Native Son by Richard Wright. I've never read this. It's one of my mom's books. So I have no idea what it's about. Number 3 is, show us a book that was completely a cover by. If you've read the book, was it as beautiful on the inside as it was on the outside? I'm going to show you the best book. This lovely book, which I've shown off before, and I think I've told you before, but I wasn't planning to read Homegoing, and I certainly wasn't planning to buy it. But then Victoria over at Eve's Alexandria showed off her book. She's, British, and so she had gotten it at a bookstore somewhere. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is so pretty. And I immediately went off Book Depository and ordered it. And it's so pretty. And I love it. And as for the reading part, yes, I have read this. And yes, it was an equally beautiful book that I highly recommend. And, it's made its way around BookTube before. So you've probably already heard about it. So yeah, it's a really beautiful book now. Look at it. Look at the colors. And I just love it. And it's orange, but it's that nice shade of orange that doesn't hurt your eyes. And I love it. Yeah. Question 3 is, recommend a diverse book. And I have to say, I'm not very good at reading diversely. It's definitely something I should be working on. But when I was in school, I did read a couple of diverse books. What I mention is My Name is Asher Love by Shyam Potak. And I read this in 10th grade. And it was my favorite book from high school. Chaim Potok is an American, but he's Jewish, and this is a book about the Hasid Jewish community in New York City. And Asher Lev is a Jew, obviously, and his family's observes very strictly the rules and of his community, but he wants to go to art school and he wants to be an artist, and he's sort of having a conflict between, his desire to be an artist and to, be in the world, and then this desire to be a good son and to be a, respectful Jew and that sort of thing. And the climax of the book is that he paints this sort of offensive, blasphemous picture for an art show, and it's sort of about how you can no longer be in the Jewish community. The vibe is, do you prefer happy endings or sad endings? I prefer happy endings for sure, like, particularly in fiction. Like in nonfiction, if the actual person we're reading about had a bad ending, then okay. But in fiction, it's like, I read fiction books for enjoyment. I don't want to be sad at the end of it. I want to be happy. And also, sort of on the same line, I don't want no ambiguous ending. I want to know exactly what happens to that character. Okay? I don't like this open-ended stuff that seems to be coming into style. Like, just tell me what happened. It ain't that hard. Okay. Number 6 is, where do you get most of your book recommendations? Okay, so before I started BookTube, I got a lot of my recommendations on the Modern Mrs. Darcy blog, which is run by Anne Bogle, but I've sort of gotten away from that because she's really into like new releases now, and I don't really do as much new releases. So now, BookTube's a big thing, and I also hear about them from like Lee Kramer, which is another blog that I follow. And I don't know, I read about them in magazines, and I read about them in my schoolwork. And yeah, I don't know how y'all are, but I tend to like not add books to my Goodreads until I have a bunch of them. And so I recently added 6 books to Goodreads, and like some of those books were books I heard about on the Modern Mrs. Darcy blog, and then some of them were from BookTube. So I would say those two, BookTube waiting to be the most important source of books recommendations. Number 7, do you give books as gifts? I really don't unless the person has specifically told me they want that book. I'm the kind of person where I hate like guessing what people want. I'm always like, send me a list. And people are like, that's not exciting. And I'm like, why do you want to be excited? Wouldn't you rather just get what you want? Because that's how I feel. Like, my mom, I love her, but I give her a list, and sometimes she'll do the list, but then sometimes she won't, and like, sometimes she buys me things I don't even want, and I'm like, and honestly, I'm very gracious, and I take care, but it's like, I'd rather just get what I want from my list. That's why I made the list. So anyway, no, I don't give you books unless, you give me a list of books you want, then I will definitely buy you the book. 8 is, what is the first book you can remember choosing for yourself? This is probably like the Sweet Valley High books with Elizabeth and Jessica Wakefield, the twins. I remember reading like, The Little House on the Prairie and like Harry Potter and things like that. But I feel like those were all given to me by my parents in some capacity. So Sweet Valley High is probably like the first book I remember that my parents did not buy me, but that I like got at the library. But I don't know. I read a lot of books, and I remember this one book, and it was called something like Love Stories Number 9, or I don't remember. I'll have to try to Google it and see if I can remember it. I'll put the cover right here. But anyway, that was like a really like adult book, and I remember I read it when I was like 8 or 9, because my parents didn't really look at the plot very well, so I remember that book kind of clearly. And I also remember reading Annie on My Mind by Nancy Garden, like really early in life, probably again around 8 or 9, because again, my parents like didn't really look at the, summary that well, but I don't know. So anyway, I don't know if that's like the first book I chose or not, but anywho, yeah, those 3-ish books right there in that series. So yeah. for 9 is, do you read books from independently published authors? Which indie author would you recommend to other booktubers? You know, I honestly am really bad at reading indie authors. Because I get my recommendations from like Modern Misanthropy and BookTube. I don't really search out those books, and that's really sad. Like, I even have a cousin, Becca J. Campbell, who's an independent author, and she publishes like sort of sci-fi books, and I have never read any of her books, and I don't know why, because she's my cousin, and it's like, why would I not read her books? This is crazy, and she's an indie author. So yeah, I am really bad, and I do not read indie authors. Yeah, sad to say. Use the title of a book or a few books to describe your bookish shelf. And I'm actually going to use the book that I'm currently reading, which is Quiet by Susan Cain. And it has a subtitle, but I'm just going with the word quiet because I am quiet and because I don't like small talk. And I am a hardcore introvert. Like, this is my book. I like it so far. I'm still reading it. But, yes, quiet, introvert, and then, I guess, power. I have power. Everybody's got some kind of power. My power is being quiet. How about that? So, yeah. Alright, that's the end of the tag. I hope everybody enjoyed my answers, and thanks again to Amber from Amber Eats Books for tagging me. And I'll be back soon with another video. Talk to you later. Bye.